Hi folks, how you all doing? Sorry for the delay. I know it's been a while. I've just been busy doing other things, but everything's going really good. The allotment, as you know, is coming to the end of its season, as it were. I've got a few things to be potting around with, but there's not a lot to make videos on just yet, although I will be planting some tulips real soon. Anyway, Erica from Erikas Welsh Garden, she sent me a meme a few weeks ago, actually it was a couple of months ago now, and a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, I'll put it up there for you. If you follow me on Instagram stuff, you've probably seen it. Anyway, we got into the conversation of how you know, we give garden advice, yet areas of our garden are in an absolute state. And my back garden this year was an absolute tip, because I was in the process of rejigging everything, and I was obviously waiting for the pandemic to end to get some help with the summer house and all stuff, so I kind of just abandoned it for about 9 months. And as you can see, and you've probably seen from other footage, it was an absolute bomb site. It really was. But anyway, I've changed all that now, and in future videos you'll see it's looking really good. But it's just it got me thinking about how many of us that give gardening advice have absolute gardening nightmares from time to time. And I think, to be honest, it's all of us. So I reached out across social media in the hope of finding a few people that were willing to share their gardening nightmares with you all, mainly because I want to encourage you guys not to quit. Don't give up gardening just yet. If you've had bad days and things have gone wrong, it's just all part and parcel of gardening, and I'm sure we've all got a messy corner. And trust me, the Instagram life, it does look all lovely and perfect, but the reality is most of us are hiding a gardening nightmare somewhere.
Hi, my name is Rachel and welcome to my very windy allotment here in Sheffield. I've been on this site for about 2.5 years. It has changed so much in that time, but there's a million things that I still want to do. And it looks a mess the majority of the time. So I'll show you around, but I won't ignore the bad bits. So behind me is my compost heap, which is next to my tower of pots. I don't know what to do with leftover pots. I try and reuse them as much as possible, but there's just so many. One thing that my dog loves to do on my allotment is take any pieces of wood that she finds, whether it's attached to a bed or not, and she will just run off with it, and she'll rip it up if she can. What are you doing? This year I tried to make a trellis out of a bed frame. Unfortunately, the sweet peas that were supposed to be growing up it didn't really do much. The bindweed, however, fantastic. This is the current state of my Brussels sprouts. Give them a little shake. That is a lot of whitefly. There are very few moments in the year that I can actually sit in my greenhouse. Look at the state of that.
Hello, welcome to Erikas Welsh Garden. My name's Erica and I garden in South Wales, which is part of the UK. I have one allotment, a very large front and back garden, and 1/2 an acre of very overgrown woodlands, and I try where I can to grow as much fruit and veg so I can live sustainably off my land, but that doesn't always go to plan. So if I was to tell you about all of the gardening nightmares I've had over the years, I'd probably talk your ears off. What springs to mind early this year though was I was out in this very woodland cutting some wood. Didn't realise that it was about to land on the camera. Luckily, it missed hitting the camera because that would have been a really expensive nightmare. But I think really I'm going to just talk about what a nightmare this entire growing season has been for me. I got absolutely no pumpkins to harvest this year, which is the first year in about 5 years that I have had absolutely none. Don't know what happened there. All of the beans that I put straight in after my onions, they got completely eaten with about 24 hours of them going in. I'm completely organic here, so unfortunately the slugs found them and had an absolute field day. I also had a really rubbish crop with my potatoes. Unfortunately, for some reason, none of the ones that grew in the ground came to anything at all. I did have a very small harvest from some cardboard boxes that I tried to grow them in. But when it came to the buckets that I grew potatoes in, which is the first time I've ever done it, I've seen lots of people successfully doing it over the years, I got an absolutely terrible harvest this year. So whether it was to do with the compost that I used or just the weather being pretty crazy this year, I don't know. But those harvests, or lack of, pretty much just sum up what a nightmare this growing season has been for me.
My name's Chloe, and you can find me on Instagram at myprettyplot with this monkey, Wilma. I have had my allotment for just over a year. I grow fruit, veg and flowers on there, and I've been growing flowers for quite a long time, both from seed and perennial. You can find us having walks and on the plot if you want to follow. And I have to say, my biggest fail for the year, it has to be not keeping on top of the bindweed. My allotment is only 1 year old, but the site it's on, it's had the opportunity to grow for 4 or 5 years. It has taken over and strangled my strawberries, it has taken over and collapsed my bean frame, and it has even infiltrated my compost. I'm not its biggest fan, we could say that, but I'm learning to live with it, so it is what it is.
Hello folks, I'm Eli and I'm one half of the Kitchen Garden with Eli and Kate, and we're based here in my currently very rainy and very cold garden on the east coast of Scotland, right on the coast, like 5 minutes from the beach. So that has its own challenges, but Ross asked me to introduce myself to give you an idea of what my channel's about. And basically it is this. My purpose is to make gardening simple to understand, easy to do, and most importantly, fun. That's it, fun. But the whole purpose is, I want to give you guys the information in a way that you understand why. You don't just copy, because that's what I found when I was a new gardener, that there's all this information out there. They don't tell you why they do things and what you need to think about. So it's okay to just copy folk, but you don't have the understanding of this new knowledge for you to apply it in different circumstances. And unfortunately, that often means things go wrong and you don't know how to fix it. So my channel very much is flying the flag for it's important to understand why, not just how. Hopefully I can get that across in a simple and fun way and keep you all enthused about gardening. So there we go, the Kitchen Garden with Eli and Kate, out here in the east coast of Scotland. So I hope that was fun, and I've done a wee clip for you that Ross is going to show you with one of my major disasters. It's all learning. See you guys. Top tip, when you put seeds back in the packet, do it over the tree you've sown in, because some will fall and you don't want them in your compost. Trust me. One of my biggest garden disasters of all time. I was sowing foxglove seeds and I got them into the compost by accident and I hadn't realised. And that year I gave all of my neighbours sunflowers because I had grown too many, and all of my neighbours then complained because it turned out the sunflowers were all foxgloves. Not good.
Hi folks, so thanks for watching. I can honestly relate to every single one of those issues. I have bindweed all over my garden because of the trees and the banks at the back. It comes through all the time. I've mixed my seeds up and I've given people wildflowers instead of tomatoes. I've done it all. I've even killed several cameras in the making of these videos. So please do me a favour, if you've enjoyed it, have a look at the links below, pop over and subscribe to everyone on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and everything else, because out of all the people I messaged, there was very few that were willing to show you their gardening nightmares. A lot of people like to live in the Instagram style of everything's rosy, but I'd just like to thank everyone for willing to show their messy corners. So anyway folks, until next time, take care. Speak soon.